My name is Ajibola Tolase. I am an assistant professor of English. My specializations is in creative writing, particularly poetry and creative nonfiction. I've been at USF for a couple of months. I'm loving it so far. It's been a great space. The students have been amazing, and my colleagues are fascinating. They're great people. Why USF? When I was applying for a job, I wasn't thinking about this at the time. But then, after I got the job, I was talking to my friend who's also a poet. You know, the thing about poets is we are sentimental people. So my friend says, this is the closest, he also teaches in a college in Florida, and he says, this is the closest we will ever be to home. Because the Atlantic is right here, and it touches, it touches Lagos. And I thought, oh, this is so profound, right? But that was not why I came to USF. When I was on the job market, one of the things that prioritized USF for me was the colleagues. Like, there's a phenomenal writers and teachers. I have met some students of USF in my journey in creative writing and writing things and just being at different teams and different capacities. And the faculty is well celebrated. They're very good writers. But most importantly, another thing that changed my mind was I wanted to come south because of the warmth. This is the closest I'll ever be to the climate I grew up in. This is the closest I'll be to the tropics. And there's that familiarity with being in a place where the weather feels like you wake up and it feels like home. Like when I talk to people, they're like, "Oh, it's so humid." I'm like, where I come from, it's really humid. So humidity is not strange to me. It feels familiar because I've lived over 20 years of my life with it. My book is titled 2000 Blacks. It's a book that's born out of a reflection on my migration to America and then the long history of Africans in America and, starting from the Transatlantic slave trade to the more recent migration that's spurred by the economic deprivation in Africa and, that's forcing people out of Africa due to economic reasons. And then kind of like figuring out where these people and how these people feed into American stories and the landscape too. Hardest poem to write is an elegy. Elegies are usually hard for me to write because you have to contend with the loss of someone. Even there's a bunch of elegies in the book, right? And the reason you're contending with loss is because you feel close to it. One of the most difficult poems for me to write is a poem titled 41, which is an elegy for Amadou Diallo. And when you think about the story of Amadou Diallo, it's very familiar to people on the continent, right? Because they're trying to migrate for economic reasons to America, to the UK, and then they get to these places and then they meet with a certain brutality, right? And it's a story that's close to everybody. Like police brutality is a thing in America in the way it is in the UK and certain parts of the world. So it's knowing that a story is close to your story and you see how it ends. Does death feel like an end? And having to think about that was difficult. Think, oh, I have escaped this economic disparity and I've come to a place where my life will end. It feels grim to think about it that way, but that was what that elegy was looking at basically. What I'm excited for people to read is I have this poem at the end of the book titled Nomad, and it's a poem that kind of like gets to the idea of everything the book is about. It talks about migration. It talks about, a father-son relationship. Kind of like looks at all the things that the book is looking at in one book, in one poem. I suppose it's why it's at the end of the book because it feels cumulative in that way. So I hope people journey through the book and, get to this cumulative moment. Transatlantic. A is for Atlantic. Africa, of course, Ancestor, America too. B is for Bashenga, first man depending on who I'm lying to, a lineage I have claimed when my accent's origin is questioned by strangers. The door I open to mislead people who only want to talk to me about elephants and my English language proficiency, never about their black fetish or feigned interest in my culinary skills and my nostalgia for goat meat pepper soup. You can find anything here, they say, except home. It's not hate, that has no place here either. It is the immigration laws. I could go on and on about their ignorance, but I just avoid bars and dinner parties. I enjoy time alone in my kingdom, I mean kitchen. I eat a pound of steak and then contemplate my position on stolen land. Our labor was forced. Lord, let me not sound entitled to money or recompense. I am troubled by my memory of discomforts I did nothing to stop. I let things happen to me because I keep my doors open. There is an offensive joke about people walking onto slave ships pretending to embark on luxury cruise. It assumes low intelligence quotient for people courageous enough to walk back at Igbo landing without rage. Maybe I'm impatient or unable to think of comedy as a silver lining. I struggle to shut my mouth full of wounds. I relinquish the task of teaching people to say my name right and inquiries about university education in Africa. I liberate myself from hate and vexations I did not inspire. From this moment on, my wish is to seek succor from the stairs that have burned into my skin, speak Sosa until a fountain sprouts from my tongue, move through the years with songs and prayers, to lock eyes with a zebra for good luck, then live 100 more years. We at the Institute of Black Life